Hey guys, SD here. Bet you thought you heard the last from me, which you hadn't. It just took this long for a series that I'd actually be interested in talking about to come back on. And if you didn't notice by the title, it is Game of Thrones. Yes, hurrah! Season 7 is back. And, there's rumors going around that it's the last season, or maybe it's official now. I don't know. I've tried to avoid any spoilers by not looking up anything I possibly could about Game of Thrones. I did, however, look up info about how long tonight's episode would be. It was 59 minutes long. There are going to be 7 episodes this season, with the final one being 81 minutes long. And my camera's trying to adjust for lighting here. 81 minutes long. And the shortest episode, probably around mid-season, is going to be 50 minutes long. So that's going to be entertaining. I've got my handy-dandy notes. And yes, I've changed settings. This is, we've just recently moved into a new house, so this is officially my room now. It's not done being painted, so you can see behind me there's still some stuff that needs to be painted. Not done being set up, but soon. Got a nice pair of stairs leading up to my bathroom, which, let me tell you, that's fun to try and navigate first thing in the morning. Anyway, you're not here to hear about my room, you're here to hear about Game of Thrones, the season premiere episode. So, without further ado, here we go. Of course, they open up with the recap of things that happened previously in Game of Thrones, and I'm not going to go over the recap because it's all stuff that happened before, but whenever you go to watch a series like this, oh, my hair is doing weird stuff up here. It's doing weird things. Oh. Anyway, whenever you go to watch a series like this where they say previously on, pay attention to it, because a lot of times they'll reference back to some little scene that happened maybe 6 or 7 seasons ago, or in the case of Game of Thrones, 3 or 4 seasons ago, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I didn't even remember that happened. And it's very important that you remember it happened, because they'll do a callback in the episode that's coming up. It'll have something to do with everything that happened. So, recap happened. Then, we, open with the opening scene, where it's Walter Frey having a feast with all of his family members. And I know, part of you is going, huh, that's weird. Is this like a flashback? Because didn't we just see Walter Frey getting his throat slit last season? Just bear with me. So, he calls all, he tells everyone, we're celebrating because, when you're the lords of the lakes or whatever, the peaks, like the Twin Rivers, I'll be honest, a lot of names and stuff escape me a lot, because there's just so many damn people to keep track of. I'm going to make references to some people. I'm not going to be able to tell you their names. I can tell you exactly who they are, just not their names. Anyway, so, he's like, basically everyone's patting themselves on the back, and he says, if we can't be big bad boys of the North, then what good is it? We're going to celebrate as much as we want. And he gets everyone up, and he's like, okay, I've got like the finest, some wine. Everyone, we're doing a toast to the Freys, yay, and everyone drinks a toast. And then he goes off on this tangent about, yeah, we're so big, we're so bad, we're so great. We kill unborn children in their mother's wombs. We, slaughter people that we had sworn to protect because, they were under our protection and as our, guests of house and home and whatnot. And of course, everyone's kind of looking around, and his wife gets ready to drink some wine, and he makes some comment about, no, I'm not wasting this on a woman. Comes in very, very important. That was about the point where I figured out what was going on. But it turns out it's not Walter Frey. No, it's Arya, and she's killing off all the Freys, because fuck you people, you killed my family. Killed them all off, all dead. Everyone got poisoned by that wine they just drank. And she pulls off her mask, and she turns to Frey's, Walter Frey's wife, and his little, 12-year-old wife, or whoever she is, and she's like, be sure to tell everybody that the Starks always remember, or something like that. Okay, so, winter has come to the House of Frey, is what she says to tell everybody. Yeah, I wrote that down. Okay, and then we do the intro, the opening, da, 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 all that fun stuff. Excuse the interruption. That was an alarm I had forgotten to turn off. My 10:15 alarm. Apparently it's 10:15. So do the intro, then we come back, and we see this shot of, it looks like a barren Iceland, you know, grass and wood, and it's the army of the dead marching, led by the Ice King, King of the Night, whatever you call him, and, you know, just lots and lots of dead marching, and there's weird fog and everything, and they have giants, they have undead giants, giant zombies. This is not going to be good when they finally make it to the wall to take everybody out. And then we flash away from that to Bran, you know, his little eyes being all white, and obviously this was a vision. He was like spying on them having a vision. And they get to the gate to get into the wall. Okay, I'm gonna have to interject really quick, because at the time, and I'm just now thinking of this, at the time I thought that Jon Snow and his group are still at Night's Watch, but they're not at Night's Watch. They're up at the douchebags, not the Freys, the other group, Ramsay Bolton. There you go, at Bolton's estate. But anyway, so yeah, the Night's Watch does actually let Bran in. At first they're like, you know, how are we supposed to know you are who you say you are? And he rattles off a bunch of stuff that I didn't really hear because my hearing's not too great, and I didn't encourage anybody to turn the TV up, and other people were chatting. But anyway, he and his lady friend get let in. So now we know that Bran Stark is at the Night's Watch. So they're back on this side of the wall. And then we cut to Jon Snow at, you know, Bolton Estate, Bolton Castle, whatever. He's now talking to all of his people who helped him take the castle. And he's telling them how important it is. We are all going to search for Dragonglass. You know, Dragonglass is the most important thing we can have right now. This is what will let us kill the undead. Dragonglass. And then he moves on to talking about how they're going to start training everyone between the ages of 10. I think he said 10 and 60. Or maybe it was 10 and 70. I remember 10 being the starting age, but everyone is going to be trained. And one of the dudes says, "Oh, it's about time we started teaching, you know, the boys of wherever how to properly fight." And Snow's like, "Not just the boys. We're teaching the chicks too. We're not having half of the population unable to battle. We need everybody." And of course, some of the macho men are like, "No, yeah, you expect me to put a weapon in my granddaughter's hands?" It's like, yes. The really cute chick of the Bear Clan, Bear Castle, whoever she is. Wait, I'm terrible with names. I'm awful with names. I'm sorry, guys. And they have some really whacked names in Game of Thrones, too. So she's all like, yeah, are you gonna tell me I can't fight? You can tell me. We're all gonna fight. Trust me. Everybody's fighting. We're all fighting. And they're all like, okay, cool, yeah. They decide they're going to send the Wildling group down to other castles along the wall to, you know, maintain those while they do their training and getting ready for fighting Dragonglass and everything else. Sansa starts, you know, kind of showing out a little bit, kind of talking about, you know, we should kick out everyone who is on Bolton's side, kick them all out, and give their homes to people loyal to the Starks. And Jon Snow's like, nah, I'm not kicking out people who've lived here for hundreds of years just because some jackass member of their family now decided to be a douchebag. And so they go after each other a couple times, and finally he has to do the whole, I am king, you chose me, my word is law, this is what's going on. And Sansa's all, yeah. So that was a little headbutt in there. However, it's, oh, okay. I'm having trouble reading my handwriting. Can you guys see? Let me shadow this a little bit. Yeah, this is my handwriting. I'm having to read this. I'm sorry. So then it goes to after the big bad meeting, and she kind of apologizes for, you know, making him look bad. He kind of apologizes for being all stickler about it, and she makes some comment about, oh yeah, he's like, you can't question me in front of people, you know. And she says, well, you know, Joffrey wouldn't let anyone question him in either, which makes Jon go, you think I'm Joffrey? And she goes, no, you're about as far from Joffrey as any person can ever be. So, oh, cute brother-sister moment. And then they get a message from King's Landing by Raven that Cersei is now queen, and she's demanded that they come and bend knee to her, or else. So that's great. And they talk about that a little bit, about how Cersei, you know, when she sets her mind to it, she always gets her way. So don't just disregard her just because she's down in the south. You know, she will definitely come and kill us all. And Jon's like, do you admire her? Sansa's just like, she taught me a lot. Which, granted, is very true. I don't think Sansa would have survived everything she had she not gotten some of the rough lessons she got from Cersei. And had Cersei not been so prepared to blame her for Joffrey's death, then Sansa probably would be in a completely different position than she is right now. And then we go to where Cersei is back having a big giant map being painted and on the, you know, castle grounds, because she's planning her domination. What's his face? You know, her brother. Her brother / lover. He shows back up. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? I can see his face. Anyway, so he shows up and he's, you know, trying to talk to her about, you know, maybe mourning or something. I don't know. And she's telling him that, you know, this is all ours now. Backer? I don't know. No, they bicker. They bicker a little bit. She's talking about how the Iron People can help them. He's like, well, Greyjoy isn't all that great. And so she's just like, well, you know, they're showing up. They're showing up here. And they got an offer to make. So, you know, the Greyjoy uncle shows up and he's complaining about how his niece and nephew basically took off with a bunch of his ships and went and joined up with Daenerys. And, you know, that's so sad. And he really wants to go pummel their heads in. And hey, Tyrion is joined up with them too. And don't you want to help me pummel his head in too? All I ask in return is to be married. You know, I told myself one day I'd grow up and marry the most beautiful woman in the country. So totally sucking up to Cersei. And she's like, nah, don't trust you. I decline your offer. And he says, well, you know, I understand. I'm going to go do something really, really great for you. I'm going to do something great, and I won't come back till it's done. Doesn't say what he's going to do. But he leaves. Oh, the best moment when he's, you know, talking about, and here I am with all my ships and 2 good hands, right as he looks at Jaime. I told you I remember his name. Yeah, basically slamming Jaime for, you know, missing a hand now. 2 good hands. And then we cut to Sam, our good old friend Samuel Tarly. Tarly, who is training to be a maester. And apparently training to be a maester sucks ass. It's all about filing books, putting them away, emptying bedpans, even while people are busy filling them, eating some sort of soup substance that looks like the contents of the bedpans, cleaning bedpans. Oh, okay. I had my first gaggy moment. I didn't gag at all during that whole scene, and it was fairly extended to just hammer home how badly it sucked for Sam. I didn't gag during that because my mom was busy gagging and I was busy laughing at her. But yeah, it was bad. Sam gagged. Everybody gagged. It was terrible. And it just hammered home how terrible it was. So then it cuts to, you know, him seeing the restricted area and trying to get a peek back there. But of course he can't get back there because it's restricted for maesters. He's not a maester yet. So he starts begging, like, whoever he's apprenticing with, hey, you know, technically I was sent here by the Lord of the Night Watch to look up stuff about the bad guys that are coming. Could I please go back there? I mean, I know everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I swear I'm not crazy. And the guy who's apprenticing him, they're doing an autopsy, by the way. So there's this big open body in front of them, and they're pulling stuff out and weighing it, and it's all gross and grody. But anyway, the guy who's apprenticing him is all like, well, you know, I do believe you. However, I don't believe it's important. The wall is held for 1,000 years. It's going to keep holding. Everyone keeps thinking this is the end, and it's never the end. So, no, access denied. You think that's going to stop Sam, though? No, of course not. He Autopsy request. Did I? No, I do. Anyway, that's not going to stop Sam. I think I'm jumping forward a little bit, but long story short, Sam steals the keys from some other maester, goes back there, steals the books, takes the books to do the research. And then we go to Podrick in training by Brienne. Brienne's training him, and of course the redhead wildling leader is making googly eyes at her because he has the hots for her bad, and she has no idea what to make of it because I don't think she's ever had a man legitimately interested in her bits and pieces ever in her life. So, yeah, she's just kind of trying to make sense of that. Meanwhile, Sansa, who's watching everything, has to deal with Baelish, Littlefinger, coming sleazing up to her and kissing ass and trying to get her to, you know, agree to do stuff for him. And Brienne shows up. She's, you know, eyeballing him. He makes his leave. You know, he's like, I'm totally gone. I'm not dealing with your crazy protector. And Brienne's like, I don't know why he's here. I don't know what he wants. And Sansa's like, I know exactly what he wants. He probably wants a piece of her underage honey because he's a creeper. And then we cut to Anya, who's riding through the forest and hears some singing and follows the singing and finds a troop of red cloaks who are traveling to go help the Freys, which had the cameo of somebody who really threw me kind of out of the whole immersion, threw me out of immersion. Ed Sheeran, you know, of the musical fame. And he was there. He was very prominently there. He was the one who was singing. So that was just kind of weird for me. I've seen him around a lot on, what do you call it? Karaoke carpool or whatever. So yeah, that really kind of ruined it a little bit. But he's a good enough guy. And she sits there and they offer her some rabbit. So she, you know, takes him up on the rabbit. And there was a part of me thinking that she's probably going to kill them all. But then I realized, well, now that she's taken their food, that'd be kind of, I don't know where Arya stands now on all the practices of home and hearth, because, you know, she's kind of gone off on the revenge deep side. But she's listening to all of them talk, and, you know, some of them are talking about how I worry about my father who's still working on the boat, and one of them's like, oh, my wife just had our baby. I don't know what it is, because, of course, we don't get ravens, but, you know, I'm thinking about her, and basically we're personifying the enemy here. They're not necessarily bad people, they're just people that are following orders of other people that kind of cause them to do bad things. So they ask her what she's busy doing, and she said, you know, because they know she's heading to King's Landing, and she says, I'm going to kill the queen. Which kind of gives everyone pause until they start laughing, because of course she's kidding. She's got to be kidding, you know. Is she really going to kill the queen? That's insane. Ha ha ha. Cut away. I still won't be surprised if next week's episode we find that she's slaughtered them all. Yeah, no. Oh, okay. Hound and Snow. Yeah, so then we cut to the Hound, who is now riding with the group of people that worship the fire god. And they come across this house, which, remember how I said that bit about the recap at the beginning of the episode, doing callbacks to things that you otherwise would have forgotten? I totally would have forgotten this, because, you know, it's been forever since that scene happened. But it's this house where he and Arya had stayed way, way, way back when they were still traveling together at the very beginning. And the house people had welcomed them in, but then I guess they didn't really show what caused the Hound to decide to kill the father, because it was a father and his little girl. But yeah, he stabs him and, you know, lets him bleed to death. And when Arya gets all upset about it, he's just like, oh, they'd be dead by winter anyway. So, yeah, it's that house. And, of course, the Hound's all, you know, since he's been his repentant self lately, he's all like, you know, no, I don't really want to go here. They don't want us here. This is not a good thing. And, the other guys are like, nah, it'd be fine. And they go ahead and they find the bodies of the father and the daughter, and the Hound's all upset about it. And he confronts the priest, like, you know, why, or not, is it the priest? The eye patch guy. He confronts him. He's like, why does the fire god keep bringing you back? Why you? You know, there's plenty of other much better people out there. Why are you the one who keeps coming back? And he's like, I don't know. So the other guy who's sitting by the fire is like, come here, come look into the fire. The fire will be able to tell you. So the hound, because he's got his thing about fire, he's got the big, scar along his face because he was shoved into flames. Of course, he's not keen on it, but eventually he starts staring into it, and he starts talking about how he sees the wall, the castle at the end of the wall, the army of dead marching past the castle, and all this. This is stuff he's seeing in the flames, and they're like, okay, see, that's why we're here. Do you believe us now? Do you believe that we have a purpose? So then everyone goes to sleep. Guy who was at the fire wakes up a little later. It's dark, but he's hearing noises outside. He goes to investigate, and of course it's the hound burying the two bodies that were in the house. And the guy at the fire decides he's going to help out, grabs the shovel. So it's very symbolic of, dude, you're not alone now. Your problems are our problems. You can unburden yourself. Everything will be fine. How well does that ever go in Game of Thrones? Okay, so I must just not have written down the bit about Sam stealing the books, because now I've got Sam studies the stolen tomes. He and his little girlfriend are there, and she's learned to read some, so she's kind of helping him out. And they're flipping through books, and he discovers, oh my god, Dragonstone, the Targaryen stronghold at the bottom of the continent, full of dragon glass. Big old mountain of dragon glass they're on top of. So now he's got to get word to Jon, that's where all the dragon glass is. Which is funny. Which I'll get to in a minute. But then we cut to Sam going and taking bowls away from the prisoner cells. Why they're prisoners at the Maesters, I don't know. He's taking the bowls away, and then somebody, we can't quite see who, grabs his bowl before Sam can take it, and we can tell he's got like scabby stuff all over his arms, and asks if Daenerys has landed, if the Dragon Queen has come yet, and Sam's like, no, I haven't heard. And that's it's what's his face, the right-hand man who betrayed her a couple of times, and she threw out a couple of times, and he kept coming back. The one who's got dragon scale now, or gray scale, or whatever that stone flesh disease is. John something, Jorah, whatever his name is. Suspect it's him. It looks like him. It sounded like him. Probably him. So then we show Daenerys and her big bunch of boats, including her dragons, showing up at Dragonstone. Yep, they've gotten to her familial home, and she goes in and she's taking the tour. It's been like flat abandoned. It has been empty for God knows how long. And she pulls down the Lannister banners that are in there, and she goes through and she finds the big map that they had there, made out of stone and stonework and little figurines, and why am I trying to blank on his name now? The dwarf, Tyrion. Tyrion is coming. Well, yeah, it's Tyrion, right? Yeah, Tyrion, because Tywin's his father. And he's going with them. And so she turns, she looks at the map, and she looks at Tyrion, and she looks at the map, and all she says is, "Shall we begin?" End of episode. Yep. I'm not even going to try to talk about what the coming up next week showed, because it was basically 30 seconds of so much flashing of stuff that I couldn't keep track of any of it. If you're really curious about it, go check out the trailers. I'm sure they're online by now. And that's basically a recap. It was a lot of stuff to cover because it got a lot of people in play still. My thoughts, it was a pretty solid episode. There wasn't really anything like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened, because that was the finale, but it set up for a lot of, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened moments. I was kind of pleased with the whole Walder Frey, with the reveal that he was really Arya, but then again, that one was kind of figurable, guessable, because we had just seen her pull that sort of shenanigan too. And Game of Thrones doesn't usually do the flashback scenario without it being really obvious. Like, you know, I'm now going and using my weird ways to see a flashback, but anyhow, so good episode, good solid start to the season. Cannot wait for the next episode next week. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment below if you have any thoughts, if you felt something that I didn't talk about was pretty important and needed to be covered. Feel free to open dialogue discussion with me. I am more than happy to chat people up. Tune in next week for next week's recap. And until then, SD out. Hopefully I do something better with lighting. Bye. Shadow, no.